What up, guys? Cal Crypto here to bring you another cryptocurrency YouTube video. Are you bearish on Bitcoin right now? We've seen a crazy dump over the last few days, and from 58,000 to 45,000 can psychologically do some damage on you guys as investors. So I'm going to break down some data today as to why this is normal and you shouldn't freak out. So before you sell your Bitcoin, you might want to check out this video. Okay, guys, so let's get straight into it. Bitcoin has been dumping. It is not fun, especially when you hold a lot of Bitcoin and you see your portfolio swing thousands of dollars every day. But I'm going to show you guys why you shouldn't freak out. We're going to dive into a few things. And if you guys aren't familiar with basic technical analysis, we'll go over this stuff on the channel and break it down bit by bit. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart here. This is the 4-hour, guys. So you can do different time intervals to discover what Bitcoin's going to do in the short term and in the long term. If you guys have never signed up for TradingView, it's completely free and it's really, really awesome to start dipping your toes into some technical analysis, because as an investor, it's nice to see the macro picture and even what's happening on a small time frame if you do end up getting into trading full time. So we're going to be looking at the 4-hour. This is a pretty good representation of the overall trend of the market, because it's not exactly a macro picture like on the day or the weekly, but it is really, really good to focus in on the 4-hour to get an idea of what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks or in the shorter time frame, but also in the upcoming future. So guys, as you can see, we got up here to 58,000 and we dumped. We started dumping when we broke through this line of support, which is the 21-day moving average. The 21-day moving average is exactly what it is. It's a moving average of Bitcoin over a 21-day span. Bitcoin has been using this as a level of support. And what I mean by support is it supports the price. As you can see, we go up, we test it right here, we bounce up, we test it right here, we bounce up, and it's supported all throughout here, tried to bounce right here, and then it finally broke. This is why you see this price action, because everyone's looking at the same thing. So when they see it break, they sell because they're traders. This is what they do. If you guys are investors, it doesn't matter. Like, don't worry about all these things. Just this is an explanation as to why these things are happening. Then you can see our second level right here is the 50-day. This is the 50-day moving average of the price of Bitcoin. Once it was broken, we now come down to all of these points of support. So when a price consolidates with these candles, each one of these candles represents 4 hours. The more it consolidates at that level and creates more candles in a row, you can think about it like that, then it creates a harder barrier for Bitcoin to plunge through. So that's why once we reach new highs and we consolidate sideways, that's really good for Bitcoin, and it's actually really healthy. And these pullbacks, guys, are completely necessary for Bitcoin to stay healthy and moving up. So we have this last line of defense before we go down to about 41,000. So if you see that happen in the next few days, guys, don't freak out. It's just natural. It's going to bounce back, and we're going to go higher than we did before. Now, as you can see, if we can close above this line, meaning that if another 4-hour candle posts, which it will in this time frame of 4 hours, and it stays above this line, we can most likely guess that the big pullback is over. That this is the bloodbath and it's past us, and we can move on to higher prices. However, if we do close below this purple line you see here, we're most likely going to 41,000. So this would be a great chance, if you guys have some money on the side, to wait for this level and buy the dip, because you might not get another chance to buy a dip like this. You're never going to see a $20,000 Bitcoin again, guys. It's not going to happen. And this isn't financial advice, but trust me, I don't think you're going to see that again. Now, we'll cover Ethereum too real quick, because I don't know if you guys are invested in Ethereum, but I personally am. So we'll take a look at this. Ethereum has broken a lot of support. It broke the 21-day, broke the 50-day. It broke this level of support. You can see all these little touch points, which was about 1737. And then it broke another level of like 1674. So now we're finally bouncing off this perfect line of support that a lot of YouTubers have had targets for. I personally had targets here, and we're supported here now. So I think Ethereum's dump is over, especially with all the institutional interest that's going into Ethereum, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you're invested, guys, don't sweat these price swings. They're completely natural, and it's part of a healthy market. Now, let me show you guys why I'm still bullish on Bitcoin in the future, and this bull run is not over yet. This is a really, really interesting piece of data. So this guy made this chart that basically goes into the cycles of Bitcoin and what we could see for this cycle's top. Now, I'm not a big guy on future price predictions and this and that, but this chart has been scarily accurate. So as you can see right now, he claims to know the price at the end of day for every single day of this cycle moving on into 2024. As you can see, he was pretty accurate in the past, and obviously he could have made this that way after the fact, but pretty sure he published this chart, guys, after or before the fact. So he's calling for a $700,000 Bitcoin at the top of this cycle in October. Is that a little bit crazy? Yes, but we've seen crazier things, guys. At this point, with institutional investment and Bitcoin being held by many people and not willing to sell their commodity, it's very possible we could reach these levels. You're looking at about a market cap of 12 trillion, and market cap of gold, guys, is $10 trillion. Bitcoin's already passed a trillion before, and it's really just getting started. So if we were to 10x from here, which Bitcoin's 100x, 200x, wouldn't it be a crazy thing? It sounds crazy, but it wouldn't surprise me. So he's calling for a $100,000 Bitcoin by April. So do you want to sell your Bitcoin? I don't know, guys. That's up to you. I personally am not selling any of my Bitcoin, no matter what I see, because at the end of the day, we keep getting news like this. Microstrategy, they did raise successfully $1.5 billion to buy Bitcoin because capital is so cheap. There's a reason why people are flooding to Bitcoin. Bitcoin offers stability in a system that has no more stability. If you guys aren't familiar with the Federal Reserve and how it works, basically the US dollar is back to nothing. It has done so since we broke from the gold standard in the 1970s. Our currency only has value because we intrinsically have value in it. We know that I can take a $10 bill, go down to the store, buy a Snickers, buy a Dr. Pepper, whatever the fact. Once that starts to disintegrate and people lose confidence in the US dollar, they're going to start fleeing to other things. And this is where you could see a future, guys, where Bitcoin is the world reserve currency. I know it sounds far-fetched, but there are some, signs in the sky, if that's how the saying goes, that this is where we could possibly be headed. I mean, you see these institutions, the US government has Bitcoin, other governments have Bitcoin. They might be preparing for the same thing, guys, because inevitably this fiat system that we own is built on debt that isn't sustainable, that is essentially going to collapse one day. Fiat currencies only have a lifespan of around 40 years. So the US dollar, being one of the strongest ones, has maintained its value for a while. But with COVID, the stimulus, the money printer going insane, we could see that stability go faster than we've ever seen before. This is a reason why I warn people to at least invest 1% of their portfolio into Bitcoin. That way, you're protected if anything crazy does happen. And if it doesn't, you only lost or gained a little bit of your portfolio. Not a big deal. So it's kind of like smuck insurance. This is something that's crazy, guys. I mean, Microstrategy is going all in on Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is an extremely smart dude. If you've never watched his interviews, you should. He really has a very poetically beautiful way of breaking down Bitcoin and how it's the most thermodynamically sound money, and it has no leaks. So you don't build a ship that will sink on you. You don't build an airplane that won't fly. You don't build a currency that will fail. And that's what he believes Bitcoin is, the perfected currency of the future. And I tend to agree with him. Now, one more thing I want to show you guys before we end this video is this is the 2017-2016 bull run. So you're going to see that when we went from $200 all the way to $20,000, there were 30% corrections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. This last correction wasn't even 30%, guys. It was only 22%. So if you're starting to sell your Bitcoin because you're afraid, or because people around you are telling you to sell it because it's going to go to zero, you guys need to look at some historical data. This isn't even when institutions were investing in Bitcoin. So what do you think is going to happen now when Bitcoin drops 22%? Institutions are going to buy those dips. So you can either sell out, lose your position, and basically sell the poor selling to the rich, or you can hold this commodity that you have and ride it out like so many people have done from here. Guys, if you bought at 20,000, you're still up 100%, more than 100%. And people were freaking out when Bitcoin was 3,000 in the bear market. Think about that. If you would have just held Bitcoin, if you bought it at 20,000 and it went to 3,000 and you thought you lost $17,000, right now it's sitting at $48,000. All you had to do was wait. Just not touch it. Just wait. Be patient. This isn't get rich quick. And anyone who tells you that it is just straight up wrong. It's investing. It's a brand new asset that's going to go have its volatile times, and you're going to have to just hold on. So guys, don't freak out. We had a 22% pullback. Even if it goes to 30%, I'm still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. Other companies are still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. And this cycle has a long ways to go. So one more little thing before we leave is Bitcoin is leaving exchanges like never before. So you guys can see that this red line is the reserves on exchanges of Bitcoin, and the black line is the price. And you can see as these two intersected, they almost made this insane divergence where as the price went up, more and more Bitcoin left the exchanges. And all that means, guys, is like we talked about in our last video, people are transferring their Bitcoin to hard wallets for long-term keeping. They're not leaving it on exchanges because they don't plan on selling anytime soon, within the next 10 years, 5 years, whatever it be. So if you guys are planning on selling because of this dip, you're in the minority. And data actually just came out that showed that addresses with 1 BTC or less were the majority of the sellers in this last dip. And that Bitcoin addresses with 20,000 Bitcoin or more have reached all-time highs. So once again, the whales, or the people who hold large amounts of Bitcoin, have fooled people into giving them their Bitcoin for cheap. Don't be those people, guys. Hold on to your Bitcoin. Stay bullish. You invested in this thing for a reason. Don't falter now. Don't sell to the rich, because I guarantee you they will gladly scoop it up. And 5 years from now, you're going to be sad. You're going to be very sad. So just hold on, guys, and things will work out. That's pretty much it for the video. Just wanted to make a little, introduction to technical analysis on the channel and show you guys some reasons why I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin. I'll be doing some more news stuff later on, but comment what you guys want to see. Here for you. So till next time, we out.